Hi guys, this is Julia for TheAlleyWayStamps, and today I want to show you how you can use one single image to create a quick and easy and yet elegant card. I'm using the balloon image from the It's My Party stamp set. I'm just using the balloon image, nothing else. Because sometimes I want to challenge myself and see how far I can take it. I'm using Ranger Archival ink because it's waterproof, so you can use it with watercolor mediums. And I'm just inking up the balloon here, and then I'm going to stamp it out onto my watercolor cardstock. I know it looks messy, but I'm using masks to protect the balloon shape, so I won't stamp into that shape when I stamp on top of these two balloons. But the beauty of masking is that whatever you mask off will appear to be in the foreground, and whatever you stamp on top of the masks will appear to be in the background. So you will see me peel off the masks here, and then you will see how the top balloon will appear to be behind the two other balloons. I just love this. It's magic, and whoever you give a card like this to, they will forever be puzzled how you made this. Now for the coloring, I decided to give my Stabilo markers a workout again. And I just put on some color, and I'm using my Dove blender pen to blend the color out. And you can see that from the little bit of color that I put down there on the edge, I'm able to pull it out quite extensively towards the rest of the balloon. That is something that you want to remember with these markers. They're very intensive in color, so putting down a little bit, you have to experiment how much you need to put down, because I think one is tempted to put down a lot more color than you actually need. This is actually a red, even though it doesn't come across like this on camera. But you can see here that the red is super intense, and I can blend it out quite far. And I'm leaving a little bit of a highlight here to add to the roundness of the balloons. I dried this a little bit with my heat gun because you need really sturdy watercolor paper to add layers of these markers, and especially to come in with the blender pen again, because it starts to pill the paper. So if you notice that happening to you when you work with the blender pen or with the Stabilo markers in layers, happens to me as well, don't worry about it, that's just the way it is. I'm putting a lighter yellow on top of the darker yellow that I used here, simply to give it a more yellow tone, to brighten it up a bit. You can see how that works here. So I'm not changing the color completely, I'm just giving it a little bit of a warmer tone, and that works just fine. After I had colored my balloons, which was really quickly, I just grabbed a tiny circular stamp. You can use a star stamp or whatever other shape you want to. You can use even a marker to draw in the circles yourself. I am using Delicata Gold pigment ink, and this has a really nice shimmer and shine to it. That's why I wanted to use it here, because I wanted to give this card, which looks rather playful, an elegant touch. And this is a German sentiment stamp. This is part of a card set that I'm going to give to a German friend. So that's why I'm using a German sentiment, and it says "Hallo," which is the equivalent to your English "hello." And as you can see, we're spelling it with an A, not an E, but otherwise it's pretty much the same. I'm wondering what I'm doing next. Oh yeah, see, that's what I'm doing next. I am putting glossy accents on top of my balloons, and I was happy that I had a bottle of glossy accents that did not have the fine tip applicator tip on top of it, because the balloons are actually a pretty large area where you don't need the fine tip applicator. It's just fine to squeeze this out directly out of the nozzle of the glossy accents bottle. And since the glossy accents, it kind of dries relatively quickly, but it doesn't dry so quickly that you cannot go back and fix little mistakes if you notice that something hasn't gone right. So you have about a minute or so that it's completely fine. Now, with the glossy accents still wet, I grabbed my Zing golden embossing powder, and then like this tiny little spoon that I've created myself, and then I'm just basically letting some of the gold embossing powder fall onto the glossy accents for some additional shimmer and shine. It doesn't matter if some of it goes next to the balloons. You can just breathe that off or just shake it off, but this will, once it dries, it will really look fantastic. Right now it's kind of a mess, but don't worry about it, it's going to be fine, I promise. I'm just admiring it myself because, I always forget to do this. So here is how it looks when it's dry. You can see you have this beautiful shimmer and shine that is in the glue, so it's not coming off, you can't rub it off. And here you have a look at the entire card after it was done. So I hope you got inspired to look at your stamp sets in a different way and look at the smaller images that you might have ignored. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you again soon. Bye bye!